All right, family. You live with the general, man. We're going to talk about something very controversial today. We're going to talk about something real controversial today. Talking about the Queen James Version of the Bible. You heard me right. You heard me right, family. We said the Queen James Version. And it is, it has been historical documentation that James was, you know, on the other side. That's what I read it. It ain't, I read it through English biographies of King James that he was on the other side. And but no, this one right here, the Queen James Version, where they didn't went in and modified a lot of the verses that condemn homosexuality. You see? So, they didn't win it. And then people talking about God's word and the motherfucker didn't went in there and change. They changed it for everything. They change it for everything. They change it for skinny people, fat people, blind people, crippled people, this people, that people. They change it for any goddamn thing. And so this, and it's been out for a minute. But they just show you, I mean, who gave them the authority? Did they check with God? Did they check with God before they did that? So that just show And so the Queen James Bible is a modern adaptation of the Bible, and it was first published in 2012. Now, I better not catch this version on your shelf. Oh, you want to be revolutionary niggas and shit, and you got the Queen James version of the Bible on your shelf. Don't tell me that's what you got up there, family. It is based largely on the King James version, but modifies a small number of passages that have traditionally been interpreted as condemning homosexuality. The editors state that their goal was to remove what they view as anti-LGBTQ interpretations. Who told them to do that, though? Did God tell them to do that? That's how it originally was. And so if you find out that that's how it originally was, then you got to find you a new religion. You can't go in there and modify. And see, this is what these weirdos is doing. They think they can change everything to suit them, to fit them, you know, but if that's originally how it was, then that's how it should stay. There should be no reason why a man could go in there, and not even a man. Anything. It could be anything today. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is and shit. A thing, motherfucker. A thing. It ain't even a man, a woman, a thing. You see? And so the one thing about it's not used, and I wouldn't, I wouldn't expect, but this is most definitely an intrusion into, the interpretation of the Bible. It is really a serious, serious intrusion into the interpretation of the Bible. And so critics argue that it reflects a particular theological viewpoint and alters the meaning of certain passages. And so, like I say, if it was originally saying that the acts you see of these peoples is an abomination, which I have read, then that's not your religion. You're gonna have to go find you something else. You're gonna have to go find you something else. And this is what's happening. They changing everything to make them feel comfortable and shit like that. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Everything should keep its uniqueness, its originality. It should keep its originality. The Bible's already dealing with some serious, faults, misinterpretations, lies. There's already enough lies. Now here we go again. So if you imagine how many times the book has been changed, re-edited, revised, how many times down through the years to the point that whatever origin, and I don't believe that there's no originality in it, but it leaves at the minimum there were some things you could identify with that you say, hey, that's truth right there. Now they want to get all the truth out of it. They don't want no truth, because that could be used against the powers to be, because the majority of them is that way. So they want to pretend like Jesus, which we know is the S-U-N. We already know that. But God is and God would put anything on the planet that could not procreate one of his own kind. I don't understand that. And say after his God created, what does it say? And God created everything after his own kind. Ain't that what it said? Let me see. That's what it said. Genesis 1:11, the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind. The tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and the beast of the field after his kind. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. So that's quote, and it says whose seed was in itself after the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, and it applies to man, and man and woman also after its kind. So the seed or the ability to procreate one of your kind should be in the power of you to produce another one of you. You see, in the act which you are committed. If you cannot do that, it's an unnatural act. Don't give a goddamn what it is. You got to come through the earth by way of a process that you not a part of. I'm not a part of it. I'm not into that. So it took a man and a woman to bring you here. You say you're confused and all it is, and your atoms is fucked up and all of that, So you can't produce one of yourself. I don't understand that. I ain't even trying to understand it neither. I ain't. It's confusion. Yeah, yeah. This is real. This is ain't nothing but goddamn confusion. But and so y'all want to continue to put this garbage out here. Yeah. Yeah, biological intelligence. They want to keep putting this garbage out here, to fool the people and all the madness that's going on around this shit right now. That people's is realizing and shit. They've been out here, pillaging the babies. Don't nobody want to talk about that. Yeah. Nobody want to talk about that. We talking about the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Catholic Church, all of them. Damn near every damn the Disney World, and these are the goddamn platforms. These are the platforms where they are, going out there kidnapping the minds of the children, this, that, and the third. I ain't, there's no way. It's no way. Don't want to, don't want to, no type of, no type of connection or nothing. Unnatural. That's what it is. It's unnatural. There's no way that you could procreate. So, you know, if you took them all and put them somewhere, they'd die. They wouldn't be able to procreate. So you're tethering on the natural way of bringing life into it, but somehow you the third leg between man and woman and so on. You the third, and so this is garbage. You know, this is garbage. We got to clean this shit up. We got to, you know what I'm saying, one way or another. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Make sure y'all like the video, give it a thumbs up. Patreon General SETI is out. The link is right there in the top of the chat right now. Get over there. I got some fire over there. Tribe family. We got some free stuff over there too. Go on over there, and that's going to convince you to go on in there and get that, you know, get that heavyweight material. General SETI, Etsy, One Stop, KingSETI.com. I'll be back, family. Don't go nowhere. I'll see you real soon. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on the wicked beast daily liberation through African education and confrontation. Boom. Black power.